Muy buenas, barbones, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estamos? Aquí Ubaman. El día de hoy tenemos anuncio de los nuevos campeones que se vienen y cosas de la pretemporada 2023. Así que vamos a ver, gente, qué nos tienen preparado Rito con esto, porque, bueno, aquí podemos ir viendo una nueva ciudad que se va a platicar de ella en el video. Simplemente he puesto un poco el screenshot y vamos a empezar a ver esto, ¿ok? Estoy bastante hypeado. Es un video que dura algo, entonces... Aquí tengo listo el matecito y listo. Ryan Rabe lo hemos visto bastante. Sí, el que hace la mayoría de las actualizaciones. Algunos campeones en desarrollo, se viene, gente. Y Rob Prosonks, que va a hablar de una actualización. Que creo que es lo que ya hablamos, que era como un artículo que como se había medio filtrado, o es otro todavía. Ok. A los campeones que salieron en serie. Fue el primer campeón del año, serie. Renata. Velvet. Nila. 4 campeones llevamos ya en el año. Y sí, el rework de Udir. Máquina. Cuerpazo de eludir. Sí, tardó bastante. Creo que es el rework que más ha tardado. Sí, merece la pena, es muy buen rework. Vamos a seguir subiendo una build AP, así que suscribirse, gente. Actualización mediana, a ver.
We've also been shipping a lot of mid-scope updates to various champions, including Janna, Ahri,
bueno, sí, unos pequeños cambios a Olaf, Sivir, la W, unas mejoras significativas a cada campeón.
We've had a bit more time to ship smaller updates to champions on the roster that have fallen behind the pack. So the goal of mid-scope updates isn't to reimagine a champion's visuals, theme, or gameplay. That's reserved for VGUs. Instead, we want to freshen up champions that aren't living up to the expectations of the players who love them.
O sea, no van a cambiar totalmente al campeón, pero le van a añadir cosas bastante buenas como con Olaf, que le hicieron.
So for Swain, we pushed his fantasy of an unkillable frontline mage to the max.
Sí.
And for Ahri, we focused on her fantasy of a mobile mage rather than the assassin she had become.
Creo que es el camino correcto. Mejoras para campeones como Skarner, que ya lo hicieron con los colosos. Neeko y Syndra. Se viene o sea, estos son cambios de habilidades, no reworks en sí, pero son cambios de habilidades significativos que se vienen para Neeko y Syndra ya. Ok. Nuevo tanque en la línea de top, gente, tenemos. De Shurima.
This new champion will introduce a part of Shurima that we haven't explored yet. The city of Nezuma.
Bueno, nuevo campeón de la línea de top lane.
Now, Azuma is an oasis city-state in the southern outskirts of the desert, and unlike the rest of Shurima, they don't bow to Azir. Situated on one of the only water sources for miles, the people of Nezuma had to compete with giant monsters just trying to stay hydrated. It was a hard-fought struggle, but they eventually claimed the oasis as their own and built their society around it.
Vaya.
500 years later, this new champion leads the warriors.
Es el líder de los Nazuma.
Using the rare resources they gain to build their
se ve interesante el campeón. Va a ser nuevo top lane, gente.
One of the largest monsters the desert has ever known, creating his unique Entofos out of its rare regenerating.
Una rara piel regenerativa.
Entofos are huge.
Ya me asustado.
That can be used defensively, but at any moment he can shatter them. Revealing carefully
el campeón va a tener cuchillas, ok.
Enemigo.
Va a ser un top lane de one shot.
The hide will regenerate back to its blunt form, so he can like bludgeon the crap out of you. It's honestly quite impressive to see. But you don't have to take my word for it. The entire city-state is basically permanently.
Quiero ver gameplay.
I mean, he's Kasanti, the pride of Nezuma.
Kasante se llama el nuevo campeón.
So after Kasanti, We will be releasing the highly
Tras Casante lanzaré... Ah, el rework de Aurelion Sol. Vamos a ver algo de
To
rework.
remind everybody, a CGU, or comprehensive gameplay update,
Una CGU es una
is
actualización
a new
completa de
type of
juego.
update we are testing out on Aurelion Sol.
A ver.
So the goal is to
Eso es lo que ya habíamos hablado, que se venía un rework.
gameplay without changing his visuals or narrative at
Ok, no
all.
quiere cambiar aspectos visuales ni
Since let's be
narrativas.
honest, those aspects of Aurelion Sol are still amazing, even by today's standards. But I know what you're thinking. Less talking, Mr. Reeve, more action.
Más
By
acción,
action, we mean
exacto. Videos, habilidades.
Twist my
Lo
arm a
pido.
little bit more, will you?
A ver.
Now keep in mind, the visuals are still a work in progress.
Ok, no es el,
One of the
no es el
goals was
trabajo
to
final.
enhance his dragon theme. And what do dragons
ver.
do? Well, they breathe fire, of course.
Oh, ok.
Aesol's
Ráfaga de
new
fuego.
Q allows
La
him to
nueva
breathe
Q.
fire for as long as he has mana to do it.
Ok,
But
entiendo.
let's not forget the other thing dragons do: fly. His new W
Oh,
allows
vuela.
him to take to the skies. But this time, he doesn't have to walk in a straight line for like ever. He can now fly with the push of a button. But really, let's be honest. He's a dragon. And if there's one thing more iconic than either flying or breathing fire, it's flying while
Oh,
breathing
volar y
fire.
mientras escupes
Which you
fuego.
can do by
Oye,
combining his Q
man, eso
and
se ve
W.
re bien. Se ve
We
súper
did it.
bien.
So after Aurelion Sol, we have a champion I've been literally dying.
A ver, no va a ser
to
tanto
talk
daño en área ya, Va a ser un
One of the
campeón más
things the League
focalizado ahora.
community hounds me about constantly is wanting to see
Campeones
more
más oscuros.
Darkin champions.
Ya.
Darkin fans are like, throw me
Darkin.
a freaking bone here. And believe you me, I'm right there with you, barking for some Darkin.
Un Darkin, gente.
One
Se vienen los
night,
Darkin.
At around 2:34 a.m., I woke up in a fever sweat. And at that moment, it hit me. I'm on the champions team. If I want more Darkin, I can just talk to the team about it. And gosh dang it, I did just that. And the team was like, heck yeah, we want more Darkin as well.
Un
We
Darkin.
love Darkin. So yeah, long story short, we're making a new Darkin assassin.
Un nuevo...
So I know you're gonna
va a
ask
ser
next,
mid lane,
what's
entonces.
the weapon? Each Darkin is trapped in some super awesome weaponry. Please
exacto.
tell us what it is. We
¿Cuál
must
es el
know.
arma?
And while I love watching you all squirm beneath my intricate yet vague champion roadmap teasers, I'm not going to be that cruel today. The weapons are like the coolest part about Darkin after all. So this one was actually entrapped in a dagger,
Oh,
which
una
is
daga.
now a Darkin dagger.
Una daga
of
oscura.
course, because that's how that
Obviamente.
works.
Definitivamente
Here's
una
what it
daga
looks
oscura.
like. Ooh,
Ooh.
so edgy, so dark. And as to who
Eso es
or
buenísimo.
what got a hold
Es
of
buena,
these
es
daggers,
buena esa.
well, you'll just have to wait and find out.
Está buena
Another
la
thing
daga,
a
me
lot
gusta.
of people have been asking to see progress
Me recuerda un
on
poco a
is the
Katarina.
Ari update that we announced at season start. Well, the ASU team has been hard at work and is ready to share some art, like the final composition seen here.
Composición final del
The
juego,
base
el
version
modelo.
is close to complete, and the team is super excited to show you some of the progress on how she's looking in-game.
Es un
Look at
rework
all those
visual.
Sweet polygons.
Está muy
And
bien
here's a
trabajado
sneak
el
peek
modelo.
of her updated VFX. Ari still has a ton of skins that also need to be updated, so she still needs a little more time in the Foxfire oven before we can get her in your hands. But you can expect to see her sometime early next year.
Ajá.
So that's about it for champion news.
Ok,
Though I
ahora
will
cambios
leave
de
you with
pretemporada.
one small thing.
Dragon Quintesh.
On top of wanting a new Darkin, we've seen a lot of players asking us to expand on Ixtal. We've also heard you asking for us to make a male enchanter. Well, I say, why not both? I'm happy to say we have right now, in very early development, a
¿A
new
qué se
male
refiere?
enchanter.
Un hechicero.
from
Nuevo
Ixtal.
campeón.
The new champion will show a very different side to Ixtal, far from the lavish palaces Kiana grew up in. So take a look at this art teaser that the team working on and put together. Oh my god, they're so adorable.
Se parecen a
That's
los
enough
como
cuteness
mids
for
de...
now. So as promised, let's hear from Riot Froxon on the champion durability update and preseason.
Ah, bueno, viene ahora a hablar de la experiencia de juego,
Hey
gente.
everyone, I'm Matthew Long Harrison, aka Riot Froxon, lead game designer on the Summoner's Rift team. We work on things like balancing the game, in-game systems like the durability update and items, and preseason. I've got a few things to cover today, so let's jump right into it.
A ver.
A few patches ago, we launched the champion
Sí,
durability.
el parche que hace que todo sea más tanque, las peleas más largas.
Increase the durability and reduce the damage and healing of every champion in League.
Y de hecho se planea reducir todavía más las curaciones.
The results, and after some targeted adjustments, we're really happy with where the update landed. A lot of you have mentioned how much you like the update, and that it feels good to have fights last longer with more chances for skill expression. And we're glad that it helped make League feel fresher.
La verdad es que el parche tiene sus cosas buenas.
Of this size outside of preseason in the future, unless it's really necessary. What we don't want is for huge changes like this to disrupt League's competitive integrity, especially in the middle of the season. Speaking of which, let's talk about our plans for preseason.
A ver, cambios para pretemporada.
Similar to last year, we're making more targeted changes to various systems. Our multi-year goal is to bring everything in League up to modern standards before doing updates on the scale of Runes Reforged, Elemental Rift, or the item update again.
No quieren cambiar nada de objetos.
We're updating systems including communication and vision,
comunicación y visión, y hacer la jungla más emocionante y accesible. Es lo que hablamos. Del video anterior de las mascotas y todo, se ve interesante.
Our communication system is showing its age, especially in comparison to some of our other games. So we're giving it some much needed attention with new features that'll make it easier to communicate with your team.
Va a haber nuevos pings, ¿no? Es lo que me estoy imaginando.
We're expanding our in-game ping system to allow for better communication.
Amigos, que solo hay 4.
The current system only lets you share very basic communications. And while we appreciate your ingenuity with the limited pings you have, we wanted to give you more opportunity for clearer communication. The updated pings will include everything you already know and love,
interesante.
Plus expanded vision options and a call to
frisear la línea, peligro, pushear.
We're also thinking about ways to emphasize pings with teammates, plan macro strategy for objectives, and keep track of where pings are on the map, even if they're off your screen. In addition to the changes to communication, we're making some small improvements to the vision system, as it's a bit outdated. It's not super clear that you can swap.
Una mejora al sistema de visión.
It's definitely not clear how you can best utilize them. To that, we're exploring ways to make vision trinkets more intuitive. You'll be able to see how
ok, va a ser... Esto es algo parecido a lo que ya hay en Wild Rift, que es una ayuda para poner los wards. Entonces, sí, supongo que es para facilitar un poco ese control. Oh, mejoras para la jungla. Este es mi mero mole.
There's a lot riding on junglers, as they're often the backbone of the team's strategy, while sometimes getting unjustly flamed. So we're looking to make some changes to make jungling more intuitive, and to help alleviate some of its more painful parts.
¿Cómo?
Our first change is improving buff sharing. Donating buffs to your laners is an important part of being a jungler, but it feels bad to lose the gold, experience, and bonuses they provide.
Sí, porque te quedas atrás tú.
We're exploring a bunch of things to make this more painless to junglers, like buffs leaving behind a little friend that also has a buff, and a few other potential directions. We're also looking at ways of improving
formas de mejorar las reglas de paciencia de los campamentos. Esto para poder hacer un poco más óptimo el clear me gustaría. Sí, es que se reinicia, es más complicado. Muchos de jugadores no controlan esto, que regeneren menos vida o algo, qué sé yo.
We'll still keep unique, optimal clears for different champions, like Kayn starting Raptors and Shaco doing whatever it is.
Sí, eso está bien.
All this said, we're not trying to make mastering jungle easier, but we do want to make it easier to start jungling. We still want you to be rewarded for taking the time to master your role in champions. There are some other improvements we're exploring for the jungle, but it's still too early to share more.
Sí, y creo que aquí todavía no dice lo de las mascotas porque el artículo salió un poco antes. Uy, el dragón.
The final preseason change we want to talk about today is the long-awaited return of everyone's favorite Drake, the Chemtech Drake.
A ver, no iban a desperdiciar todo el diseño que hubo de mapa con eso. Obviamente lo tenían que usar otra vez.
Instead, the new and improved Chemtech Soul grants more damage and damage reduction when you're low health.
Otorga más daño y reducción de daño cuando te quedas con poca vida.
The plants on the map mutate and become empowered.
Espérate, esa planta era diferente. Ya no era direccional.
Grant movement speed when moving towards revealed enemies, and blast
ok. Uy, hay rework de plantas,
to mid lane. We still have other plans for preseason, including the usual updates and tweaks to items and runes. and we'll share more information about our plans for
A ver,
these
esas nuevas
and
plantas se veían
everything we
muy
discuss
bien.
today as we get close to preseason. That's all I have today.
Eso le
Thanks
añade
for
más
watching,
utilidad
and let us
tanto
know
como
what you
para
think about
enganchar
everything we
o
have.
para que un enemigo no se te
I'll
escape y
hand
no
things back to
solamente
Reef
revela
to
dónde
say goodbye.
estás.
Thanks, Roxanne. So as you can see, we have a lot
Sí,
of
hay
exciting
bastantes
things
cosas,
in development.
bastantes.
And as always, I've had a blast finally sharing all this cool stuff the team has been working on with all of you. Wait. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Siempre cierran el video con algo
So I'm
interesante.
hearing that there is one last thing we forgot to show you all.
A ver.
You all remember the skin line you voted for at the beginning of the year, right? I think
Ah,
it
la
was
línea
the
que... Los
Gothic
nuevos...
skin
Ah,
line
los aspectos
revamp.
góticos, es
Well,
verdad.
our
Fue el que
skins
ganó.
team has been hard at work reimagining that skin line, and they really want to share a bit of it with you now. So it's time for me to say goodbye, bye, and time for all of you to see some sweet concept art for the new Fright Night skins.
A ver. Uy. Ok, tenemos aquí... A ver, déjenme quito esto. Tenemos, a ver, que aquí hay que verlo un poco más a detalle. Se ve que es Draven. Tenemos Draven que se ve guapo. O sea, es como gótico el estilo. Tenemos a Renata. Renata también va a tener su skin gótica. Ok. Urgot. Oye, Urgot sí que da miedo. Y esto es Trundle, creo. Trundle y Annie. Que, ay Dios, es que esta cosa tapa, pero... Bueno, seguramente... Se ve OP. Pero sí, a ver, son las nuevas skins. No se ven nada mal, ya lo digo. Pero sí, o sea, nuevas skins, sí, ya está. Apenas están en un diseño muy early, pero ya que salgan, pues las traeremos al canal. No hay mucho misterio ahí, gente. Así que pues eso, gente, nada más. Esos son los nuevos campeones, cosas nuevas que se vienen para pretemporada. No parece que vaya a haber tantos cambios en las líneas. Va a ser más enfocado el cambio a la jungla, cosa que a mí me encanta porque pues yo juego jungla y es lo que más juego. Entonces se agradece un cambio de jugabilidad porque sigue siendo muy parecida en los últimos años. Los nuevos campeones también. ya estaremos siguiendo un poco todo lo que salga de ellos. Y pues poco más, gente, de suscribirse al canal. Ya saben, un gran porcentaje de la gente que mira los videos no está suscrita. Así que te invito a suscribirte para que no te pierdas ninguno de los videos. Y pues nada más, gente. Nos vemos hasta la próxima. Chao.